Hey Ed, how you doing? And Giggles is here too. It's 8:58 here. It's only 45 degrees. Okay, TJ. TJ's eating a salad bowl full of cereal. He just ah. The anybody get anything new they'd like to share? I hope that Brenda is doing okay. I know the hurricane's getting ready to hit down there. The Hey, Joe Portolio. Ed Hassick said he's not feeling all that well. I think I have what Captain Joe has. I won't wouldn't want to share that. Oh yeah.
Hey, Bo.
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
As soon as I got on, they started barking.
What time's the baby coming?
I'm just waiting to hear.
What'd she do? Call you and tell you she's on her way or what?
Yeah, she texted me and said, on my way. Hey, oh, that storm is going to be terrible.
Yeah, it is. Not good at all.
It's moving a little south of Tampa, though.
Is it?
They want it south of Tampa. TJ, Edward, JoJo, Cool Cat. Yeah, Joe, they want it south of Tampa. Because if it goes north of Tampa, Tampa's gonna be a mess. They want that water going out, not coming in. Shoot, it hits Tampa as a category 4. You go down there and work there forever. Be at least 10 years to get it straight. Yeah, I hear it too. Paul must be shaving. I don't hear anymore. TJ, you know that's your head buzzing. That's not us. Yeah, you got a point there, Joe. You want to south of him. Yeah, TJ, that's because you always got to lean forward and get slapped.
It's so cold out, I had to put the magnetic bug screen up for me. And that just holds out maybe a little bit of the cold air, but still it's open. I don't know if do they make a plastic thing that goes across there?
I don't know. It's 64 here.
It's 45 here.
You cold.
Yeah, it's chilly. Chilly Willy.
We're going to have all next week. In the mornings, we're going to be in the 50s.
Yeah, it's supposed to stay in the 50s during the week, but down night tonight it's supposed to go down to 36 degrees. I don't like winter, Joe.
Mm.
But I guess there isn't a whole lot, I've lived it for 70 plus years, and when I was younger, when I was a teenager, we used to go snow skiing and stuff, and then snowmobiling when I was in my late teens, early 20s, but then that all went away. Giggles. Giggles was eating that bowl of cereal again, the one that the face makes his whole head disappear. Yeah.
TJ getting nasty in the chat.
TJ's getting nasty. Well, maybe you left a Q-tip in your ear. Check your ears, TJ. Says he hears a buzzing.
I mean, I hear a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a little buzz every once in a while. And my disclaimer stays up there all the time.
I don't hear it.
It's going now, but every once in a while you hear a little vibration like a buzz.
Let me go over here to Pet Supply Plus and see if they have a.
I don't know if they have a plastic one. I know they got the
I got
dog
the
doors you can
I
put.
got the screen door one, you know,
Yeah.
magnetic in the middle, and
Yeah, there it is again.
no, I didn't hear it.
It's not, you hear it, but it's not that bad. Like when you got a mosquito going by you. Yeah, but that's a different kind of buzz. That's a little high pitch. I got it too. Later, Joe. Johnny bought her a Neo. Shocked. I got a game tonight. 2 games tonight. This year Wednesday's coming fast.
Yes, the only thing I have in dog doors is you know, the just the narrow.
Yeah. That's what I got by the sliding door.
Yeah.
So one of the narrow ones with the glass, with the little rubber one underneath. And everybody will go through it, but Tina. Yeah. Loki won't go through it. Cleo in the summertime, it can be 100 degrees. She'll go out there and lay in the sun. She'll come in and she'll be panting and out of breath because she's so hot. Yeah, it's TJ's twirling his mustache. That's what we're hearing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. When he lets it go, it's a buzz of it
I
spinning
thought
back.
maybe it was his cereal rumbling around in his stomach.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm so tired this morning. God darn it.
Are you not sleeping well at night or what?
I slept good. The last 2 nights, I've slept almost a full night. I do better when I wake up every 2 or 3 hours. Good, Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
All right, am I working now? Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you, but all of a sudden,
Okay.
there you go. My computer wigged out for a second.
Yeah. Headphones didn't want to connect for some reason.
How you doing? How's the weather there, Justin?
Calm right now. It's just cloudy.
Oh, somebody's got the baby. Put the TV on for entertainer.
Yeah, that's what she wanted. She looked at me and she gave me a hug and she said, "Up." I put her down and she go sit on the sofa to watch TV.
Where are the dogs?
Well, the dogs are spinning around barking at her. They're gonna be up there in her face in a minute. Go see. Go see Lily.
Oh, it
Yeah,
went
she's
back
sitting up.
north a little bit.
Yeah, it's trying. It's going back. It's doing a wobble.
Yeah, because it was right over frostproof. Now it's right above frostproof. I haven't been watching it since last night. I kind of fell asleep early, so I'm just now looking back into it. Still gonna hit his. Oh, it's gonna hit shores of 4 now instead of a 3. Shit. They haven't been consistent on those numbers at all.
No, but
It's
the
one
difference
day that
the difference though between somebody said, and I don't know because I haven't looked it up. The difference between a 4 and a 5 is like 5 mile an hour wind.
well,
That comes
that's the
about. It's
difference.
about 20. It depends on where it's at.
Well, that's the difference between most of them. But a Cat 5 is 157 plus.
Yeah,
So it can go way up there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But then what I'm saying is, one, they haven't been consistent on the categories. They keep bouncing back and forth on the onshore category of what it's going to be when it hits onshore.
Yeah,
Dude,
they're saying 4 now.
yeah, I've watched like 5 or 6 news stations, all when they get the same update, and every one of them showing something different.
That's
This is what I'm
crazy.
talking about. Consistency is like
Yeah.
they're all getting their information from the same place, but they're all interpreting the information in their own way. And so, yeah,
You see, that's why I believe the ones we got because we go through them a lot. You know, and it just seems like the ones we get, I don't know. I see what you're saying. I don't know why everybody here's all got the same consensus.
But like I said, that category, they were like, oh, it's gonna get you like, watch, let me show you. Because this has now happened 3 times, right? Where they said, oh, it might get to a 4, it shouldn't get to a 5, and then what did it do? It got to a
It's a
5.
5.
And then they said, oh, it's gonna drop down to a 4 the rest of the way, and then boom, it got to a 5
Yeah.
again. And then they said it again, and then a 5 again. See, and I wouldn't be surprised if this bitch don't ramp up to a 5 again.
Well, it's at 155. You're only 2 miles from a 5. That's 2 miles an hour. Isn't that much? You know.
And it
I'll
went
put it like
back
this.
north too.
I'll put it this way: a category 4 at 155 or a category 5 at 157 doesn't matter, because what's happening is coming across that Gulf as a 5. It sucked all that 5 water up as a storm surge, and it's already pushing it. So it's just like going downhill. It's just pushing. And that water's going to stay with it. So you're going to get Cat 5 water. Even at a Cat 3, you're going to get Cat 5 water.
And Sarah
there.
told me last night. She's like, I'm watching the meteorologists, and they're saying that there's no way this thing could go back north. I said, yes, it can.
Yeah, you can.
I was
It's
like,
a front.
I said, even the governor said that it may wobble back and forth. And she said, well,
They
they
all
said that.
wobble.
I said, well, I said, honestly, sir, I said, if you look at this last week of what they've been saying things are going to do, they've been very inconsistent, and they haven't been right about 70% of the time. So
Yep.
about the only thing they've really been right about is the kind of the area where it was going to hit. But as far as exactly where, they haven't been dead on about that.
I just told Lily, I said, later we're going to take a nap. And she smiled at me and laid down on the sofa.
What's up, TJ, Edward, Joe, Michael?
Joe left, I think. He went to work. Maybe not.
I think I said hi to everybody.
I see,
TJ, you need to come back on the panel. We have a quiz for you today.
Camilla was on
Lord
the
help me.
Late Show last night drinking beer.
You heard what she did yesterday?
Yep, last night.
No, on The View, you heard what they did?
What?
She screwed herself yesterday. Boy, she screwed up yesterday. She's on The View, and they asked her, with everything that's happened with y'all over the last 3.5 years, is there anything you would have changed? And she goes, no, everything. I wouldn't have changed anything. That right there is a big negative.
Well,
She couldn't answer
now,
questions.
what they've got is Obama out campaigning for her.
Too little, too late. CNBC was showing something last night, and it was showing it on Fox, and they said, based on the polls right now, and if you compare them to the polls in 2016, they said that's why they think the polls are wrong right now. They said Kamala would be like 262, 240 with delegates. But they said, but if you compare it, because it's got the same kind of feedback as it's happening in 2016, and they said it would be 312 to 200 and something. Trump, a landslide. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Trump's going to blow him out the water.
I hope so. I can't imagine this country being run by her, that numbskull, you know?
I don't care if she got a law degree. I don't care what she's got.
Well, yeah, but you notice they never talk about her law degree. Because I heard she got her law degree. She was the bottom of her class.
Yeah, she failed the bar a couple of times too.
Yep.
And everybody that worked for her did her prosecutions in California. She didn't do it.
Nope.
She had
Okay.
one. She had one interview where she talked about she found out how much power she could have in the stroke of a pen and liked it. So it's all about
Okay.
her.
Go ahead, Justin.
My prediction is gonna be 219 to 319 in Electoral College. Mark my words. It's gonna be around those numbers. Trump's gonna
With
win.
Trump. Yeah,
Trump's gonna be around 319. She's gonna be around 219.
that's what I'm thinking.
And that's just from my prediction from the numbers I ran from last election to this one of where I think the states are at.
Yep.
I think he's going to be around I would say 316 to 319.
Well, they were saying 321 last night.
He's going to win by, well, see, then they were close to what I was saying. I think he's going to win by over 100. Up, Edward. Oh, I was Dusty. No, Dusty's not in the chat. I sent Dusty the link for the new Beetlejuice movie last night.
Oh, did you?
If you wanted to watch it, yeah. I watched it. It was pretty good. Wasn't bad.
They should send me that link.
Well, you want to see it?
Yeah. That'd be a good movie. But I tell you what, I'm worried about the surprise we're going to get in the next 30 days. I think there's going to be a surprise. Something's going to happen.
Really?
Yeah. Well, look, the FBI just stopped the terror attack of a Pakistani guy that was let in 2021 on a visa. He's supposed to have been. It's a visa that they give to the people that help us. You know, like Afghanistan, the Afghanistan people, and he might have been somebody that was an interpreter or something like that that helped us. He came in with his family. His whole family evacuated the United States. He sent his family back, and they thought that was suspicious. Went and checked on it, and him and some minor were getting together to have a terrorist plot to have a terrorist attack on election day.
Well, I think there's
So
all
I'm
kinds
wondering.
there's all
this
kinds of
is-
crap like that's going to happen. You know, it's
But
like,
let me tell you, how many people are military age that got into this country?
oh yeah,
What happens if all of them are here to have a terrorist attack election day? Think about that.
well, the thing of it is what I don't understand. You know, the Democrats have carried this. You know, you've got a right to protest. Yeah, peaceful protest, not throwing paint on stuff, not smashing windows, not doing that stuff. If they engage in physical, then you should match the physical, or you should tase the shit out of every one of them.
Like Justin
Well,
says,
see-
it comes down to equal force.
But see, that's the difference between. See, that was the whole argument during all the riots a few years ago, right?
Yep.
When they
Yeah.
did like the COVID lockdowns, it was okay for people to gather to protest BLM stuff, but it wasn't okay for a church to gather for, say, if they wanted to have service. Or it wasn't okay if a certain political side wanted to get together and have a protest, then it became illegal.
Yep.
See, the protests a few years ago were all politicized. And it was all one side politicizing it. I mean, that was just clear as day.
They pretty
One
much
side
are
were,
the same today.
one side was allowed to do what they wanted, the other side wasn't allowed to do anything. Well,
And
pretty much
you got-
one, and it wasn't
You
even
got
just one
Kamala
side.
that told them that we're going to have protests like this and it shouldn't stop. And then you had the other people tell everybody that you need to take out Trump at the same time as this is all Democrats. You know, all of this was being brought up every day.
Yeah, they in all of them, they talk about Trump as an enemy of the state, you know?
No. Yeah, it was, but they could get away with saying whatever they want. But you know, and it's never reported on.
No,
It's all right.
I'll be so glad when whatever happens, it gets over with, because I don't want to hear any more bullshit.
I'll tell you the one thing I'm afraid of is if, like I said, if all these guys that got into this country that nobody knows where they're at starts having terrorist attack all over this country, election day or something like that,
Yep.
there's going to be a lot of people getting shot because anybody that doesn't look right is going to get shot by somebody.
Tell me if you get this link, Joe.
What's that?
I was asking Joe, let me know if you get that link.
Let me
Sometimes,
see.
Messenger will block them. If not, I can
I got it.
have to. Okay. Now click on it and tell me if it takes you right to the movie.
Can't be reached. Hold on.
Interesting.
Hold on.
Can't be reached.
No, wait, hold on. Nope, not let me.
My hat. Hold on a sec.
Morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, Lance. Out of the darkness, Lance appears.
Yeah, I'm doing a waypoint hyperlapse over I-5 and the American Car Museum by the Tacoma Dome, and I'm just gonna see how it turns out. It was raining on the way in, so I didn't think I was gonna stop, but by the time I got to Tacoma, it had stopped raining. Ground is wet, but it's not raining, so I'm out flying.
What's temperature there, Lance?
I'm guessing in the low 50s. It's not too bad.
Huh. All right, let me try something else.
Cool Cat says, hello, good morning, Lance.
Who says good morning?
Cool Cat.
Oh, hey, Michael. Did it stop moving? What's it doing there? No, it's still moving. Just had it turn real slow, I guess. And one of my waypoints, there it goes. Now it's starting to move again. I can actually see it from inside the car, so I'm gonna get back inside. Sorry about the hyperlapse noise, guys. But hey, that's what I'm known for, right? What is Justin call me?
Try this one real quick.
What do you call me? Hyper boy or?
So Joe, do you still have the Neo ordered?
Yeah. Thank
You
you.
trading it in for your Avata 2?
Yeah. You're getting rid of all the Avadas, all the rest of the drones. Don't want the Neo instead.
Well, it looked like Marcus had a good flight over the canyon.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good flights online.
It doesn't seem to be too bad. For $200, you know, and my buddy Kip that I fly with, he has one. He really likes it. He says it's just a fun toy. Something different.
You like it?
And for $200, because I'm not going to get any of the I don't think I need an extra battery or controls or anything. I'll use my goggles and or the phone. And one battery, what is it, about 10 minutes long? That's long enough, and then I can put it away and charge the battery.
Yeah, well, I got it on order. Nobody's got it. That's the thing. Where I got it on order, they're saying not available. Adorama says ships the 10th. Then they said it ships directly from the manufacturer. Best Buy is not showing it anywhere. I bet you my Best Buy's got them in the store.
Yep, in the back room.
No, they probably have them on the shelf, but they're not showing them. Because somebody said they bought one at Best Buy.
And my Best Buy says I can get one on the 15th or get one shipped to the store on the 16th. So this may get Justin back into drone flying.
Yeah.
Well, it'd definitely be the right size for him.
What happened with yours, Paul?
Still on order. It's
Why don't you
shipped,
just go across
but
the border?
it's shipped from Sichuan, China. Supposed to be here the 18th, which is a week.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna ask them this morning. Crutchfield, what's going on with this thing? I was gonna do it yesterday, forgot.
Looks like Hyperlapse Waypoints does the manual mode, not and the auto mode.
Thank you for calling Signify Health. My name is
Hey, there he is, Dre.
Video created successfully.
Get one on the 15th or get one shipped to the store on the 16th.
That's all because I think it was Michael Wright out of Texas. He said he got his yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And there's a couple folks here in the United States said they got it.
What happened with yours, Paul?
What's that? It's shipped.
Across the border.
Did everybody go silent or was it just me?
No, I can hear you, but
Oh, okay. I didn't hear nobody else. That's why I was
I don't
wondering.
hear Joe and I don't hear Justin.
I'm here.
Well, Justin, we don't worry about.
Watch it, old man.
Yeah, that's okay. Little young buck. Come over here and get this can of whoop ass. Go ahead and crack the seal if you must. You feed them squirrels yet? So your internet come on?
Oh yeah, they're feeding squirrels. He's always feeding squirrels.
Uh-oh. TJ come out firing today. Hey Justin, TFR, temporary flight restriction.
He probably was dreaming about that last night.
You go, TJ. So what's it looking like, Justin? Clouds getting dark?
It's pretty dark outside, but it's pretty calm at the moment. And nothing really going on. They won't
So
start
are you guys
really
getting
going
any
it.
outer band
Oh.
activity?
Who?
I was asking Joe, was he getting any outer band activity?
No, we're not getting anything.
Okay.
We're not getting any wind. We're getting nothing up here.
Yeah, because they saying this thing is huge. And it's good. It's
Yeah.
like twice the size normally.
Go get your drink, your milk. Yeah, it's spreading out the closer it gets.
Yeah.
It's gonna take the whole east coast of Florida is gonna feel something.
Hmm. So I'm just
But
wondering if
it's,
yeah, I guess Alabama might get a little taste since you guys a little farther away than Alabama is.
no, I don't
Morning,
think it's
Gary.
gonna be right in the panhandle.
Okay. Right there.
Yeah, I think just Florida's gonna get this.
Hmm.
Because it's so far down there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the blessing. It's not like when Katrina got in the middle of the Gulf, it was hitting the whole Gulf Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it came right up north. Came out of Gulf and went northbound. Now they say anything about that other one coming up through the off the coast of Brazil yet?
I haven't seen it. Because yesterday it looked like it was kind of not happening,
Mm.
but it does that every once in a while. They'll show one, and the next day it'll go back to normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only
They'll
look.
go back out to sea and
Yeah.
dissipate.
They still got stuff in the bottom. It looked like it's trying. Let me look.
But as I
You
said, if this
see,
one causes much damage as they're anticipating, even a tropical storm could come through and just devastate everything.
Is it still high winds? I haven't seen it this morning.
Now, Justin says it's pretty calm so far, Lance.
Yeah,
here you go.
you won't start feeling it till this afternoon around 2, 3 o'clock.
That right there on the screen right now, that would be October 18th.
It looks like
And
Key
that's
West is
just a
getting
low
hit
pressure.
pretty hard. At least the winds.
Yeah.
Key West is getting hit hard, but Cape Coral right now. I saw a quad picture early this morning, and Cape Coral was fine. Key West was, the southeastern buoy was getting hit pretty hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, they got that little low pressure is going to come into the Gulf right there.
Yeah, I'm
And it's
watching
going to saturate Florida again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could just be a tropical storm, but if this one causes much damage as they're anticipating, a tropical storm could be like the cherry on top.
Yeah, because look at it right there. That's October 18th.
Yeah, that's down in Miami area, right off
Yeah.
of the Keys.
That's 12 inches of rain in the middle. That's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still right here, still trying to come up.
Uh-huh. Well, that's what
And
I'm
that
saying.
reason that's staying there is because there's another big system coming down.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying that it don't even have to be a hurricane force, but like I said, this one Milton causes much damage they're anticipating. It could be just a tropical storm level, and it would just add more misery to them people already been hit.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. Just pet him. No, just pet him.
Because you're talking about potentially 3 storms hitting Florida area up to the east, up into the Carolinas through Georgia in a month. Like I always tell everybody, Mother Nature is the ultimate inspector. You think you can build something that can withstand all these levels of earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes? Let Mother Nature get rolling.
All right, I got it for you, Joe. Just if any windows pop up, just close them.
What'd you do? Take out the squirrels and put in a hamster
What?
to get your internet running?
That's Paul's thing with the squirrels.
Well, I forgot your thing.
understand.
Your thing is tap into somebody else's internet.
There you go. Well, you can't pay for it yourself, right? I mean, I said, if any other windows pop up and you just close them and just keep clicking it till it opens. It's not gonna do anything. I had to get the PC site because apparently it didn't work on the mobile, like, for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I got it. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just checked with
Paul-
Crutchfield on the Neo and they said they don't have no ETA on when it's gonna be available to ship.
So Paul, you're gonna get the Neo, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing.
Did Joe tell you to buy it?
Yeah,
No,
Okay.
Justin
No.
did.
I told him I've just stopped trying to talk Murray out of buying things. He needed he was running out of room. He has a nice little spot on the shelf that he could sit on.
Next to his Cokes or his Pepsi.
Mom. No, put that back. You ain't getting nothing. Put it, stop.
here you go, Joe, what do you think?
Arriving tomorrow, huh?
Well, hold on. I thought you bought one off of like,
Yeah, I do,
Very good.
I'm getting another one in about 2 weeks.
oh, for fuck's sake.
Where'd you order that from? Canada?
Best Buy, Port Huron.
You see, hours don't show it. It said it was
Order-
available.
Order received, yeah, it's available. It says I'm supposed to get it, see, arriving tomorrow.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's
So why my
delivery,
Best Buy don't show it?
delivery $211.99.
All right, Michael, relax yourself. Stop copying and pasting stuff out of Google.
So Justin, anything on Amazon Prime worth getting?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't even been on there.
Yeah, they have their Prime days the last 2 days now. All right, yesterday and
I
today.
know they always have it when I don't have
Go
extra
to your
money.
Best Buy store and then type in DJI Neo.
I did. And it says
Well, I'm
coming
not-
soon.
What were you? Are you looking for something specific, Dre, or what?
No, there's nothing.
What's
I
the
am
zip
actually-
code there?
48060.
Yeah, there's nothing I need, Justin. I'm out here, got my Paul Murray hat on.
Well, if you no. If you had your Paul Murray hat on, you'd be buying shit you don't need.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I buy something, it's something I don't really need. I'm over here looking on eBay right now, looking at stuff. I'm like, yeah, definitely don't need that. Don't need that. But you know what? Maybe.
Did you get you should have looked on fucking. I wonder if they actually have any Prime deals on that drone. Let's go to
No,
Amazon
that
and look.
DJI
No.
is very, very restrictive on that price controlling.
Did you find anything, Joe?
No, I went to your site and it says coming soon.
You know, because he probably bought the only one that they had.
No, because it's shipping from another store, like south
Oh.
of me, like Mount Clemens or something.
Well,
Joe, go to Federal Way, Washington, Best Buy. See what you come up with.
Amazon's got them, but they won't be delivered till the 17th of October.
I can give you the zip code if you want it, Joe.
Yeah, let me see. Give me the zip.
9 8023.
How much did that cost you, Paul, for the Flymore?
I didn't get the Flymore, just the drone.
Yeah.
$211.99.
That buzzing noise coming from?
Did you
I don't
find
have
it?
that in-
Did you find
Same
it, Joe?
thing. Yeah,
Same thing.
okay. The drone is available, the Flymore is not. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You guys didn't hear that buzzing noise?
nope. Paul, oh, Paul must be on the phone.
Do you
Okay,
still hear the
Paul,
buzzing
what?
noise, Justin?
Well, it went away when Paul muted himself, so that's why I was asking if y'all heard it.
No,
Lean
didn't hear-
forward, Justin. Lean forward. Closer to the monitor.
No, I could hear a loud buzzing noise, and the minute Paul muted it, stopped.
Yeah. Lean forward.
Yeah, I said, lean forward. Let me reach to the screen, smack you real good.
So, Justin, are you bummed you didn't start your job?
I mean, yeah, it kind of sucked, but I got that stupid stomach
Mhm.
virus the day before I was supposed to start, so it was kind of
Yeah.
a blessing, I guess. I didn't have to
Oh,
start the
you
next
you
day.
still sticking to that
That's it.
story?
No, that shit was horrible.
We'll get some water. We'll get some milk.
And now Sarah's
Thank you,
mom has it now.
Oh,
It's like one of those things that slowly like hits one person for a couple days, and the
mhm.
next person gets it. It's not like everybody got it at once. It's like slowly moving through the house.
I think I found
Sarah,
that's on eBay though. I found something I might want to buy.
is eBay doing deals too because of Amazon?
No, I'm looking at a
Uh,
center channel speaker put for my parents' system. The same one
Did you-
same one I already have.
did you look on Amazon though to see if they had it?
Oh, if Amazon sold it'd be like $200 for it. This guy's starting his bid around $23.50. I think I could get it for under $100 in 2 days.
Uh,
It's a Polk Audio center channel speaker S35. I've had mine for about a couple of years. I like it. It's a nice center channel speaker.
is it like a sound bar or?
No, it's a center channel speaker. It's just sound bars are, like I said, just like buying a Swiss Army knife, all in one. And if you, for me, I've been into home theater for a long time. I mean, I had 5.1 system back in the 90s and stuff. So I just don't buy off on those single soundbar systems. It just they don't really take the place of 5 or 7 or 8 or 9 individual
Stadium.
speakers.
Stadium.
Well, I assume too, it probably depends on how big the room is, right?
Right.
If you were in
yeah,
a
the
tiny room, it'd probably be fine, right?
right. Yeah. Sound bar for like a bedroom,
Thank you. Right here.
outstanding, and everything else. But like I say, for this, if I got this for my parents' family room, it's fairly large. It's actually bigger than my family room because theirs incorporate the dining room. So it's a very large room overall. But like I said, I run a 7.2 system in my family room and stuff. And it's just when you certain movies that have a lot of ambient sound to it, basically surround sound, that's when you really appreciate having, surround system,
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Edward said the buzzing's been happening ever since Paul went on.
Yeah, whatever.
Thank you. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
reading
whatever.
what the chat said that.
Yeah, whatever. You need to go get
Be nice.
The problem is my
paper
headphones
clip.
are so much more advanced than your guys's, so it can hear all the bullshit.
Well, that to me, that would not be advanced. I mean, they're defective. They're picking up odd
Yeah.
noise.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. You know, the drivers in
see-
your headphones can't can't handle the frequency range.
So,
Now, see, it lets me hear all the bullshit so I can duck and weave, duck and weave.
Uh,
Now, these ones are actually pretty good headphones. They got the 7.1 surround sound.
yeah.
DJ done pissed me off with this Neo. I ain't buying no other drone from them.
Ah. Mm, mm, mm.
But they got the Neo. I could pick it up Saturday just by
Uh-huh.
itself. But they don't have the fly mode kit.
Oh,
And I can't see buying just a drone. I'd rather have the batteries with the charger. Because
I
I've
hear you.
got the baby here. I can fly it around in here with her. I don't
Mhm.
have to worry about it if it happens to hit her.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'd order it through Adorama. I'd have it tomorrow.
Mm.
Get it from Adorama.
See what
The only
they say
time
now.
I don't like ordering stuff from Adorama and what's the other their sister store there.
B&H.
What'd you
Yeah.
say, Lance?
B&H.
Yeah, B&H is that sometimes you buy stuff from them and then right after you hit the purchase button, then they'll say, oh, it's on order. They don't actually have it in stock. And I'm saying, why
Yep.
don't you say that when you have it listed? That it's on
That's-
back order or out of
That's
stock.
because they see you coming.
That's why they didn't see me coming in about 2 years. Last thing I bought from either one of them guys was another set of batteries for my M30T, and it took them almost a month to get me those batteries because they didn't actually have them in stock as they advertised. You know, they said, "Oh, here's the extra set of batteries." I mean, that's $700, and I ended up
So-
getting them things almost 3-4 weeks later out of some place out of Arizona. So they never had them themselves. That ticked me off. It's just lucky I didn't have a requirement that I needed for a job or something. I was just trying to be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But I hate buying. Like I say, I'm like anybody else. I hate buying stuff and I gotta wait a longer period of time to get it. I always tell folks, did my money go through on time? You didn't wait 2 or 3 weeks for my money.
Yeah.
And they always talk about, oh, we ship within 24 hours. I'm like, then they get a little notice, oh, item will be on
So-
order.
That'd be me.
Welcome, listeners. You're listening to Smooth Jazz with
Look.
Mudball Dawn.
Go sit up
You
there.
just got through listening to The Seduction
Watch
by
TV.
Pamela
You'll
Williams.
come
Joe,
by.
I'm gonna show you
Throwing
my
it back to
invoice.
Watermelon Man by Herbie Hancock.
All right.
Old Herbie.
Doom,
All
doom,
right.
doom, 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 doom.
Because normally they're $249, right?
No, $199.
$199.
Oh, total is $211
And you got that right. That's pays for the
$199
tax.
price.
$12.
Yeah, that's just the drone and the battery.
Drone and one battery, but you plug it in, it charges itself up, and then I ordered the other on online. But see, you can order here in the flight batteries, extra ones.
Yeah. See, my thing is I want to get the batteries with the charger, you know?
Well, I ordered the
I want
charger
the little hook.
online through
Yeah.
Amazon.
Justin still here? Okay, I see him at the bottom.
You need a diaper change?
So I didn't hear, Justin. Is the storm still tracking to go right over you?
Yep. Yeah.
So I was going to tell Justin, Don, I bought this. I'm on a bid for this Polk Audio S35 center channel speaker for my parents for their system. And I was going to explain to Justin, so you buy nice things for your parents because all you're doing is contributing to your inheritance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I already have one for my system at my house, but like I said, I always try. Like I told Justin, there's nothing I really need, but you know, with this Prime Day going on and something else, I said I'll find a reason to buy something.
Hell
If it's not
yeah.
for me, I'll buy it for somebody else who don't even really want it or need it. And I said, "What'd you get this for?" I just want to update you. That's all. Just want to update you.
But last year at this time, I bought that new computer system and paid cash for it. And I paid it for it out of my football money that I use all year. That's my backup money.
Right.
This year, I'm not buying shit. I ain't bought an SD card. I'm letting that money sit there. It keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah. Well, that's the way you're supposed to do it.
I had somebody last night tell me we really wanted to get your package, but we didn't know how he was going to play, and he's starting to play now. And can we just have you pay one game at a time now, like that? And it's only like 4 games, you know. So I looked at it real quick. I went back to the two numbers 50, 56 and 59, 2 different games. I went back to 4 games and looked through the pictures quick and found like 18 pictures of them. That was it. That's basically because he's on the opposite side of somebody that I shoot.
Right.
So that's why he don't get his pictures. And I texted him last night. I said, I found 18 pictures from the whole year. I said, if you want to do the 150, I'll do good. Some freshman parent. I said, just pay me the 150 and I'll add them to my list and start shooting them like that. So I'm waiting for that 150 to come in. But you see, that's being nice in marketing because next year they'll pay the 250.
Right. Yeah. They'll be first up to the plate.
That's right. So I could waste an hour of my time to make $750 over the next 3 years.
Like I say, you got some free shots of him, not a lot, but free shots that he's already shooting. And I always call that, like you said, it's marketing. You know, I always tell folks you ain't got to make a killing every time you do a deal, but it may feed in another deal down the road.
Well, that's why the freshman parents usually, like I said, I usually have maybe 4 freshmen total, and I used to get mad going on JV freshman nights. I didn't like doing it, but I knew I had to do it.
Right.
And I'd go out there for maybe 4 players and maybe 2 players. So I got 2 games for 6 players. So it's really a waste of my time.
Right.
You know? But this year I've got 12 freshman parents. So that means next year I'll probably have about the same. And those 12 are going to be automatic rolled into as long as they play next year, rolled into the 250.
Right. Well, if they're on the varsity team as a freshman, they're gonna be playing next year unless they get hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 3 of them that are on the varsity on a JV team. If they go to JV, they're gonna play next year. Yeah. And it really depends on the position. A couple of I got 5 linemen. Linemen are gonna play.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just seeding the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just working again.
I don't blame you, Joe. I've been doing the same thing with my carer's allowance. It goes into a separate bank account, and I don't even look at it. But I looked at it the other day, and I thought, "Oh, that's not bad." Then there was £10,000 in it.
Ooh.
I have about $30 in quarters in a piggy bank over here to the side of me.
Yeah,
I got that in my saving quarter.
Yeah. I got one of those too, Don. Don't worry about it. It sits right below my feet at my computer desk. One of them old,
And then,
one
I
of
don't
them
know if you
old
heard the other story. I
plastic
got,
water bottles that's almost filled to the top.
yeah, I got
Yeah,
a,
I used to do that with a 1 gallon whiskey bottle. I used to fill that up with all my loose change.
I don't keep loose change. I keep quarters.
Yeah, well,
I keep
I
whatever I
used
have
to
in my
work
pocket.
behind
The loose
used to
change
work
goes
be-
into a goldfish bowl up in the closet upstairs.
Mhm.
My quarters,
Yeah.
I save those in the piggy.
I used to work in a pub behind a bar, and the tips, which weren't very much. I mean, you might have made like a couple of pound for a shift at night, and that's about it, because you're only getting like 10p tips kind of thing. They don't tip much in pubs over here.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I used to wait tables at Pizza Hut, and I used to keep my paycheck, but tips I would try and cash out half my tips at the end of the night into quarters. Because if I had cash in my pocket, I would spend it, but I wouldn't spend quarters. And that's why I still save quarters. It's because it was just a habit. Grab quarters and set them to the side because I wouldn't spend them.
Yeah,
You know what?
we don't actually have a coin now that's the equivalent of that, because that will be 25p. We have a 20p. We used to have one, which was the half crown, which
You know,
was
I was
2 and 6.
Well, the point of it is change it into for smaller and smaller. Change it into the smallest you can that would be difficult for you to carry around and spend. It was the key. It was just to force me to not, because you get tips, you got cash in hand, and it's so easy just to take it out and
Yep.
blow it on crap because you got cash in hand.
Well, I go with that same mentality. I always say I call it the empty pocket mentality. If you know you only got so much in your pocket, you're more reluctant to spend it
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because you don't want to walk around empty, nothing in your pocket. And
Yep.
I tell people all the time, I say, get away from using plastic as much as possible, especially ATM cards, but people are so used to it now. I said,
You don't know the
cash
money's
as
leaving.
often as you can. So instead of you going out and spending 15, 20 bucks on lunch on using your ATM card, you can be like, nah, I don't think I need to eat lunch today.
Mhm.
I don't want to spend all my cash up.
Hmm.
Because I like I said, when I was a young guy in college, I used to deliver pizzas and stuff. Man, I used to survive off my tips. Like Don said, paycheck, go in the bank, tips, that paid for my gas money during the week, any little fun thing I want to do, that was tip money and stuff.
Yep. My check went in the bank. Half my tips went into
Yeah.
quarter rolls, and then I basically spent the other half. And then at the end of the month, I would roll up any
You
loose or take any loose quarters I had, take it up to the
Soft.
bank and put that in as well.
Yeah. Stuff like quarters, nickels, dimes, I always went to the ashtray of the car back there,
Be nice.
which I guess
Soft.
would have been beneficial if I lived on the East Coast where you guys have all those toll roads and stuff. But out here in California, we don't have toll roads really. So it's just like, if you want to go and get some candy or whatever, something like that at the store, quick soda, dig in the ashtray.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Who hasn't been digging around in an ashtray and under the seats for
Uh.
just enough change to go in and buy a Mr. Pibb and a Slim Jim?
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I never was a smoker, so like the ashtray was clean, always clean. So I had to worry about cleaning out the ashes or cigarette butts and stuff like that. It was clean. So even my car today is completely full. The ashtray is completely full with change.
Yeah, they don't have ashtrays on motorbikes.
Yeah. I don't keep any change in the car anymore.
I still do. It's just a habit.
Oh, I keep a little bit of cash in my wallet for real emergencies.
My sister used to have one of those big water bottles, and she used to come home. She used to work as a bartender, and she kept all her change and put it in the bottle. And it was always nickels and dimes and quarters, right?
Mhm.
And she and she had it sitting on the floor in the corner of the room, and it was about 2 feet from where the dog had the paper. And the dog paper was sopping through to the wooden floor and rotting out the floor, right?
Oh, wow.
And then the
And
wait,
nobody realized that. You
Mhm.
know, they just changed the paper. It was
Mhm.
sopping into the floor. So one day, my sister sitting over there, she heard a crackling sound, looked up, and the thing went right through the floor.
Yeah. Okay. The old glass bottles were heavy.
Yeah, it went underneath the house,
Yep.
hit the bottom, exploded. So she had to
Wow.
go under the house and get all her money.
Mm, mm, mm.
Without cutting her fingers open on the glass. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I was just gonna ask you, I know out here in California, which I'm pretty sure most banks the same way, they won't take rolls of coins anymore. You have to find one of those change machines
a
that
little
will
coin
take a
star or
certain
something.
percentage of your money now for you to, get cash it in.
Be nice.
Yep, we have one bank that will still take change
Is that
if
right?
you
You
have
got-
if you have an account with them.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just
Mhm.
thinking, you can go to the bank and ask them to give me the paper roll things. Give me one for dimes, quarters, nickels, whatever. And that was like a little thing when I was a little kid. Oh, you spend a couple hours just putting those together. You know?
Yeah. The Chase Bank over here, they've got a big sign on on their their drive-through. Do not put rolls of coins in there.
Mhm.
One day, one of the girls that I know, she said somebody put a bunch of quarter rolls in, and it was shot through. It came through, went through the metal thing into the lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was like a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can understand that because of the weight factor, you know?
And it works off the weight. It felt the
Yeah.
weight, so it used more pressure.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
They said they heard it coming, and they said it sounded funny. And she said they looked up, and when it hit, it just blew it completely out.
Hmm.
They said there was plastic coins flying all over the place.
Oh, wow.
We used to be able to take bags of coins into little corner shops
Mhm.
and pubs because they always wanted change.
Mm-hmm. Yep. When I was a waiter, that was always the thing. At the end of the month, time to cash up all the loot or roll up all the loose stuff, and sometimes I'd have rolls and stuff, but there's a lot of loose stuff too. But be rolling up, and then you had to write your bank account number on the outside of the roll
Hmm.
Yeah.
to deposit it.
Yeah, what I do here is I take the quarters, and when I get to 5 rolls, that's when I go to the casino.
Playing slot machines.
Yep. I'll take 5 rolls. That way it's quarters, no big deal.
Now you get those change count machines they use in grocery stores, and
Yeah.
they want to get a certain percentage of whatever you feed through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the change counting machine in our supermarket in Tesco, it prints out a voucher for you to spend in Tesco. It doesn't give you it doesn't give you notes or anything. It just gives you a voucher for the amount that you've put in.
Yeah.
Hmm. When you got to take it to another register to get the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that might be the way this one, but I never used the one. I always see it over there. And every once in a while I see somebody over there feeding the machine, but I see the sign says, certain, I think it's like 15%, whatever
Yeah,
that
something
is.
like that.
You feed through it, it keeps. I'm like, dude.
No, it don't keep. Ours don't keep anything.
Yeah. Well,
But you always, it's amazing. It doesn't matter how hard you've tried. You always get like 3 or 4 coins back at you out of what's it that turned out to be foreign coins.
Mhm.
It's very clever.
I used to get people mad at Pizza Hut when they'd hand me change, and it'd be Canadian pennies, and I'd give it back. I'd hand it right back to them. This is not ours.
Well, Scotland have their own, or had their own notes. No, they still have their own notes, which are slightly different in design to ours, but the same size. But they're still legal tender in Britain, in England.
Yeah.
But a lot of shopkeepers refuse to take it because they look strange.
When you work with money so much, I used to drop the quarters and dimes and nickels and everything in there. When you
Listen
drop
for
the
the silver.
silver and it's a different sound.
I could hear someone when I was just working there. I could hear somebody running the register. I could hear when silver came in, and I would come
Yeah.
back over. What'd you just drop? And I'd buy it.
Well, I got so much silver in my safe.
My
Yeah,
brother, when he was working
Uncle
at Pizza
Bill.
Hut, he had somebody bring in an entire roll of Morgan silver dollars to buy a
Wow.
pizza.
Wow.
You know how fast he bought it?
Bill does that at the bowling alley as well, doesn't he?
Do what? Oh, yeah.
When Uncle Bill, when he's counting up after the bowling alley shuts, swaps all the silver ones for normal ones. I assume they are worth considerably more than the actual face value now.
It all depends on what one.
Well, just
I
in
had somebody-
just in weight.
Yeah. I had somebody come in one time and they handed me like 5 or 6 nickels and they were all Indian head.
Mm-hmm. We got some of the we would sometimes come across Mercury head dimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got in the safe. I still have. It should still be in there. A red seal $5 bill, which the
Yeah.
little seal on it instead of green was bright red.
Yeah.
Be soft.
They're not worth a ton, but
Worth more than $5 though.
yep. Depending on the condition, and to tell you the truth, I don't remember what condition it was in.
Mm.
It's been so long.
I had somebody hand me $1 and it was like $21 and something. They handed me the 21 and I threw it on top of the thing and I handed it to them. When I went to put the dollar in, I looked at the seal and the seal was in the wrong place. And I looked at it real good and it was legal, but it was just printed wrong. It had a printing error. So I just threw it up there, changed it out, stuck, and it was so crisp. It was perfect, right? So I took it, I went and got a piece of cardboard, put it on there and wrapped it real quick so it wouldn't fold. So then I stuck it in my little safe thing I had in the back, brought it home, and I contacted a buddy of mine. He said, bring it in, I'll see what it does. Brought it in to him, he looked at me and he says, yeah, I'll give you 200 for it.
They're worth money.
Yeah. So I got 200 for the $1, you know? So, yeah, here you go. Take it.
Yeah, that's a decent profit.
But that's the one thing I used to like about it, going through the change, going through the money, finding mistakes. But you look for numbers that, like, if you found something that only had like 1 or 2 numbers in it, like it might be 111444444, something like that.
Mhm.
Big money. If it's a dollar bill, you get $20 for it.
Mm.
Or you get a bunch of 20s. This is what I used to, I did this all the time. And you get like somebody hand you like 3 or 4 20s and they'd be sequential and they'd be perfect. Put those on eBay and you can sell them for like 25 a piece.
Mhm.
People wanted them.
Yeah, there's collectors for everything, right?
Yeah,
Well, now-
I used to make a lot of money that way. I don't have the
Now
time
we've
anymore.
got plastic notes instead of paper. Nearly every note you get out of a cash machine is brand new and in sequence.
Yeah.
Is Dre at work?
Because the plastic
Yeah,
ones
I'm at
are
work, Paul.
old.
So what you're saying, they're printing them as you need them, huh?
No, they just stack up brand new notes in the tills in the cash
Yeah.
machines. because the old notes now, with them being plastic, once they get folded, they're very, very difficult to flatten out.
Let me check back. No, man. Come close. Come close. I can't see. Well, diaper change. I'll be right back.
Diaper change.
Does anybody here have the outdoor lights, either by Govee or any other brand that they sell on Amazon? It's outdoor lighting.
I've got outdoor lighting in 2 places, but I don't know the name.
Well, I'm
brand
talking
of
about not just spotlights, but this is like decorative light that you would
it.
put.
No, I don't.
I'm debating about getting a set, so I would have this lighting. You know, I hate to do Christmas lights every year. You put them up, you take them down, January stuff. I want something I can actually put up and leave up because I can use it multi-purposely year
Yeah.
round.
I used to have the icicle ones hooked onto my house gutters at the roof,
Mhm.
and then the wire just came into my bedroom through the window frame and
Yeah.
plugged into a socket.
Yeah, because I'm looking at these now and I'm like, this way, no matter what event or seasonal holiday is, I can have lighting and you can change to whatever color you want to
Yeah.
reflect, or you can have it do what they call the fade in, fade out of different colors and
Mhm.
stuff. like people do at Halloween and Christmas time and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm getting to that age where I'm not getting on ladders hardly anymore. So I want to make this like one time deal. I'm not going to do this again till I have to pay a grandson or somebody to do it, 20 years from now.
Yeah, I've actually got to take mine down now.
Yeah.
The trouble is that if one LED breaks,
Yeah.
one section just goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And I
So
think
they got it now that where you can clip these things and you can add to it, or you can change. That's how you change the direction on it. Because there's a little adapter kit that comes along with it that makes it like a 9-degree turn, or even like a tri-tip thing where it can go straight and then go up also off of this one little adapter piece.
no, mine had a. These are just normal
Yeah, just string along.
speaker wire, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it had a remote control to control, so you can turn it on and off and change the different patterns and everything.
Right. That's what this does. So it does that, and plus all the different colors you can choose stuff. And that's why I was just thinking. I said, I might want to get this, and then that way I'll put it up there, and I'll hear the wife nagging me about, we putting Christmas lights up this year, and I always say, why you say we? It's only gonna be me.
Yeah, there is no we.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I always tell you speaking French now. There's always going to be me on the ladder, stretching and reaching, trying to use the staple gun and stuff. And I said, you don't even come out and hold the ladder for me. You just sit in the house and wait till I come back in and says, we're done. And then want to critique and complain when they come and say, how come you didn't go over that way or that? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm the way out here did all the work. I don't want to put the calories in. I said, you didn't even come out and hold the ladder, didn't supervise nothing, but you want to critique and complain. I said,
well, that's supervisor.
Hey, Frank.
And Jody. We're going to have some cold weather over the next few days. For the next 3 days at night, the low temperature is going to be 3 degrees C.
Oh boy. And I was thinking I might break out my winter coat and it's gonna be only what, 75?
75.
Next week we're dropping below freezing next week overnight.
It's 10:30 here and it's only 48 degrees.
Oh man, my wife would have me go out and buy some Duraflame logs. Really, that cold.
It went down to 38 overnight here.
And she would definitely say, get the fireplace going.
See, I'm thinking it's getting down below freezing at night. It's getting to be camping weather.
You like to camp in the cold?
Oh yeah, that's the best time to camp.
Oh, wow.
Says you.
It's when you get to camp and be alone.
See, when
You
you're
get to
young-
camp
when
and
you're
not
young,
have
Trey,
to deal
that's
with
the way
people.
You like that cold weather.
You get to camp and not deal with people. Plus, if you're hiking, you can. It's a lot cooler. It's not as miserable hiking. You don't have
It's kind
insects.
of hard to hike with a cane. You know what I mean?
Yep. You don't have insects to bother with, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pack your hammock with the bug net. You can go open face.
Of course, you've got to carry a snow shovel with you.
Why?
No shoes.
I didn't say I would go out in the snow. I'd love to go camping in the snow, though. I would love to be out, set up, and have a little bit of a snowfall.
You keep having that dream, partner. Keep having that dream.
You dream away there, Don.
And then
Okay.
you can get your underquilt on and you crawl into your hammock and it's all snuggly and you're so warm, you're
Yeah,
warm
all
and
that
cozy
hammock
in there.
stuff, you
It
know.
sucks having to get out to take a piss in the middle of the night, but just snuggle down your, yeah.
I gotta tell
That's
you,
what-
I
that's
did all
what
the camping
it's-
I'm gonna do in my life when I was in the military. I don't need to go camping no more.
You fit it with a funnel and a tube.
And there wasn't no hammocks being passed out from the supply office. You either had a full tent that you shared or you got a lean-to, half shelter.
Well, a hammock tent is quite handy if you don't have to put it on the ground when it's snowing. Mm. As long as it's not blowing a gale, that is. How steady are they in wind, Donald?
Hammocks?
Mm.
That's when you get rocked to sleep, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's great. As long as you make sure that you're hanging, you don't get near any widowmakers. Get nice live trees and hang. But you do the same thing if you're setting up a tent. You want to stay away from any deadwood.
Yeah.
But we had set up one night, and this was actually in a campground. But I had my hammock hanging, and we had a storm come through, and tents were getting flooded out, blown over, canopies getting crushed and stuff. I was curled up in my hammock with my Kindle, had the rain fly, perfectly dry and warm. Everybody else is like, we got to go. It's like, but so I had to get out because everybody else wanted to go home. I had to get out in the wet when I was perfectly snug as a bug.
Yeah.
Like you were in a little cocoon.
Yeah, he's- all right, then you go. Come back for me tomorrow.
Yeah, it was very much like that because they're getting flooded out, it was soppy wet. The ground was, it was muddy, but I'm hanging from trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wind was blowing. Oh, it was great.
Peanut butter diaper.
We don't want to know.
Oh, was sloppy, huh?
Too much information.
Oh, we have a blowout?
It's like Jiffy Creamy.
You can have a blowout.
Yeah, that's good.
You know it's bad when you have to wipe their shoulder blades.
Yep.
Hey Dre,
Yeah.
She was about maybe 3 months old, and I pulled her. I was changing a diaper in the back, and she had a blowout.
Hmm.
As I was changing it,
Oh, wow.
I had it on my shirt. I had it on the wall.
Mm.
If it would have hit me in the face, I'd have been through.
Oh,
Mm.
man. That's a
I've
tough
always
one.
been cautious, so I've never been anointed.
Well, I was cautious. I mean, she had done everything I thought, wiping and everything, and all of a sudden, just looked at it and said, "Really?"
It's no different than I said if you got a boy, and I saw
Yeah.
it's like as soon as you open that diaper and that cold air hit that pee pee, all of a sudden they want to pee everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
why you get the white.
my son,
you rub them with the white for a second, have them pee again.
my son, he almost got me, but I actually had grabbed him by the feet and had lifted him up when he decided to go, so he pissed all over himself, but I stayed dry.
Well,
I approached diapers like the Hurt Locker.
I've heard about guys changing diapers and a little boy and he's laying on his back. All of a sudden he starts spurting like a
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
freeze.
will. Cold
Stop.
air hits, like Gray said, and it's just time to go.
Yep.
Speaking of,
Yes.
I hear all the kids are awake now.
Take it. Take it.
I woke
Go
up
over
at
there.
4 o'clock this morning. I've got a pinched nerve and my arm was just itching like crazy. So I've been up since 4,
Mm.
maybe a little bit before 4. And I heard the baby girl up around 5 o'clock was squalling and making some noise.
I was awake at 8. But I didn't go to bed until 2:30.
So yeah, this is my second mug of coffee today because I'm going to need it.
So the dogs came to the back when I changed their diaper, right? So I come sit down. They come to me like, "Okay, we want a treat."
Hey, you want a Snicker bar?
No kidding.
They thought they did something, help, so they got a treat.
Tootsie roll, tootsie roll, tootsie roll.
Oh, hell no. Loki, when he was a puppy, he was at the house and he walked in and he walked over and he left a couple little treats right on the carpet, right? And this is when we only had Loki. And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, but no, you did not do that. That's supposed to be on the paper." He actually walked over there and picked them up and went and put them on the paper.
Mm.
I said, "Don't do that." But now he don't. Now he's pretty good at that.
And then he came to you and gave you a big kiss, right?
Oh, I kept him away from it for a couple of days. But he's got a habit of where it's at. I've got it in the corner of my kitchen in the back, so it's away from everything. And he's got a habit of getting his front paws on the paper and missing about 2 inches of paper on the backside.
Mm.
I walk in and I'll say, "Turn your ass around." Well, I bought a steam mop, That's my morning ritual, picking up the paper and running a steam mop.
Mm-hmm.
So the Air 3S is supposed to come out on the 15th or the 23rd, between those days. Air 3S looks like it's going to be a pretty good drone.
Mm,
But again, I don't need it.
apart from the LiDAR obstacle avoidance at the front and the bigger sensor, I don't think it's got a great deal different.
Yeah.
Now, I heard them talk about that last night. Now, what is this LiDAR sensor in the front supposed to do other than what the other sensors have already done for the last several years?
I think it's
Pick
supposed to be a
all
little
around.
better.
So it's supposed to be just a better obstacle avoidance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're saying that if you fly it, say I open my door right here and I fly it from a balcony,
Mm-hmm.
you take off from the balcony and take off, right? I got trees all out here.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be set up to where it's going to read all of this. It's going to fly where it needs to go on a return to home. It's got a smart return home. It's going to come down around them trees and come back that same way to come back into the balcony.
Hmm.
Well,
I'd like to see it happen, but yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I said, because smart return to home, well, most drones come in usually at 90-degree angle. It's going to fly right above you, then drop down straight.
Yeah.
Now I know that my Enterprise drone, both of them, when they return to home, they come at an angle. I
Right.
might be at 400 feet, and by the time it gets to where I'm at, it's down to 100 feet.
Right.
And it
Yeah,
but
I
still
think-
will still come down straight vertically. It'll come down. So I don't know about this thing
But-
getting down and flying between branches and bushes and then land in your hand or land 10 feet off the ground, off the balcony, or whatever.
I mean, it's supposed to be a new return home feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
return to home that they've had on the Mini 4, the Air 3. I don't know whether they had it on the Mavic 3 or not. There are two different options. One, your normal one, where it goes up to
Yeah,
a certain
Mavic
height,
3's got it.
comes and then drops down. Whereas the other one just stays at the height it's at and makes its way back and avoids anything in the way.
Right. And
But-
this one's
but-
supposed to be better.
I said
The
my
new kind.
question mark is like what Joe described. If you take off, instead of taking off vertically, you take off, you raise it up about 5-10 feet off the ground, and then you go out straight.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come back in the same way it left.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Say this new system.
Because
They said if
with
you
that-
can stay inside and fly it.
right, you can stay inside and fly, or that's the classic example of guys who like to fly from under trees and stuff like that, and forget
Yeah.
when the drone returns, it crashes into a tree because you're standing under the tree when you're stuck off.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dustin Dunhill, when he did his review of the Mini 4 Pro last year,
Mm-hmm.
flew the drone into a coppice. So it was completely under trees
Yeah.
and then pressed return to home. And the damn thing found its way out before it went up.
Okay, but it went up eventually, and what did it do when it was
Well, it
going
had
to
to
land?
get over the trees that it was in.
Right, I got that part, but
Yeah.
my thing is when it actually gets to the landing segment, what did it do?
I don't know. You stood in the middle of a field, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
that probably just brought it straight
that's the-
down normal.
That's the part I'm talking about.
yeah.
Is the actual, like I said, when you do the drone, most drones come back, it'll get back to whatever altitude it's going to be at. Then it'll say, like the old drones would say, turning off all obstacle avoidance for landing. So it will land. Okay. Now, some of the newer drones, like I said, my Enterprise 3, it'll come back and I might be at 300-400 feet up. And by the time it gets back, it's at 100 feet because it's descending, but still is the same thing. It lands vertically.
Yeah, but I think now they don't actually turn the obstacle avoidance off
Mm-hmm.
because it's it actually gets down to about 1.5 feet off the ground, and then it pauses, and then it goes into landing mode.
Well, my drone does, my Enterprise does that also. It drops down to about
He,
5 feet off the ground and it pauses. And I actually manually had to use the stick to make it finish the landing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. What is this LiDAR
Finish
going
the
to
landing,
do?
and it will shift itself across as well, so that it hits it pretty much the exact spot it took off from. But yeah, I think the LiDAR, what happened to Marcus was he was flying in his Air 3 and he crashed into a grey wall.
Yeah.
Because it just saw grey in front of it. It didn't see any contrast changes or anything. It didn't know there was a wall in front of it.
Right.
Well, LiDAR is going to make it so that it can see that, because it's basically he said it's infrared, but it is some form of light laser that it uses to bounce off surfaces, and it has a transmitter and a receiver, and it has to work the same as sonar.
Right.
It works out how far away it is from something.
But that's pretty much the same way the old sensors work, with some type of radar system. But like I said, that's why you get the little warning signals on your controller telling you you're coming in contact or close contact of an obstacle.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to find out what was this guy. I heard him talk about it last night, but I came in at the tail end, and they were just saying, "Oh, this LiDAR is going to make it great," and I'm like, "Well, great for what?"
It's going to make them more accurate. They will know exactly how far away they are from something.
Well, okay. I'm not going to doubt that it's going to work, and everybody works better, but at the same time, there has to be a certain level of pilot interaction that keeps you from crashing into stuff. Like I said, I don't know all the detail. I remember hearing Marcus talk about he crashed a drone into a wall or roof line or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, where was the pilot interaction when you were flying? What were you doing when you were flying that you couldn't differentiate the difference of that roof line or wall, where it was that you need to raise up and go over, that the drone flew right into it? Or were you anticipating the drone to stop and you were just gunning it to see if the obstacle avoidance was
I think he was testing the obstacle avoidance.
Yeah, he was anticipating.
Avoid it.
I remember that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, there has to be a certain level that it is a machine, and it's going to work to a certain extent. But like I always tell people, never rely upon the obstacle avoidance to be your protection of crashing.
No, you're supposed to be flying the drone. The drone doesn't fly you.
Right. And the obstacle avoidance is just to assist you in making those decisions.
I treat the optical avoidance as basically it has to be a backup. You can't count on it.
Right. And that's just my philosophy of flying drones, is that you don't want to really rely upon it as being your brake systems. Like I say, even driving a car, you have to press the brake pedal for it to stop. Even with these newer cars that have this radar in the front of them that keeps you in the lane and tries to reduce your speed and stuff, but you as the driver are still in control of that vehicle and stuff, and you can still have an accident. It's like we have all these Teslas that do what they do, and they're supposed to have all this technology on them, and people say, well, it was on automatic driving. So now even Tesla themselves say you need to have control of the vehicle, even though it may be in autonomous mode, as they call it, whatever.
Yeah. What's the number one, the most answered question on 107? Pilot and command.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, what you described to me is something that's kind of already been there, where they used to have what they call it, the APS mode, which is supposed to be the sensors would tell you it's coming up on something, and the drone will automatically ascend or move to the left or right or go below it. That's kind of the same thing with LiDAR, where I can see it assisting you and telling you, letting you know something's coming up, but then it also will lower the drone or raise the drone up in case you just can't. In other words, I don't call anybody stupid, but if you fail to make the adjustment, the drone will adjust. So you
Yeah,
don't.
but I think that with it being a light and reflection sensor rather than a visual sensor, which is what the others are, it's going to see smaller objects. So the small twigs without leaves on will be noticeable rather than invisible.
Well, we'll have to see how that works.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try it.
APS mode has been around since I think it first came out in the original Mavic Air. APS mode. But that was one of the big sellers when they first came out. Was it APS mode where it would fly around objects automatically and make its own decisions if necessary.
Yeah. Autel were the first ones to bring out like sonar obstacle avoidance on the Max, their enterprise zone.
Mm-hmm.
I so rarely use optical avoidance though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fly with it turned off.
It's a godsend if you're doing tracking.
Yeah, well, so then you're like I said, you're turning the drone over to its own design and make, and
well, it's perfectly legal. In fact, it's the only time.
I'm not saying it's not legal because I fly autonomously 90% of the time in my mapping jobs.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's it. It's the only legal time you can fly beyond visual line of sight is if it's in an automated mode.
Mm-hmm.
Or it is over here. I don't know whether you have the same rule over there.
Yeah, well, I'm not even gonna go down that route.
No, we don't have that rule here.
Yeah, we don't have that specific rule
yet.
in that language. But as I say, doing mapping, you fly where you need to fly over a certain range of area. And like I say, yes, the drone uses all of its abilities to navigate. The biggest thing, like I say, for me, most of the jobs I'm doing now, I also use terrain awareness. So which means I'm trying to get the most accurate mapping that I can. So with terrain awareness, RTK, all this kind of stuff, I'm using all these things, GCPs and stuff, all combined together to produce the most accurate maps that I can.
Yeah.
So as I said, those are all different factors. Now, the drone makes decisions based upon the terrain awareness more and the RTK than any of the sensors that it has on it. The only time I even hear anything about the sensors is when it comes back to land. But during the flight, well, like I said, I'm flying so high, there's nothing to run into for the
Is
most
that
part.
totally three-dimensional so they can actually do ground levels from it?
Yes. It uses all the sensors that it has on it, the bottom, front, sides, whatever it has on it, to adjust its actual flying altitude to adjust for the terrain below it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, if you look at some of my footage, I'm doing autonomous flight, you'll see me where it says from my takeoff point to where the drone is actually at, it'll be like 500 feet, 600 feet, because the terrain is rising up. So the drone is adjusting itself where it's only at 400 feet above that terrain where it's actually at the time. But when it returns home, it is at 398, 399.
Yeah.
So that's why when I hear these things, about the LiDAR, smart return to home, a lot of this stuff was incorporated when the Phantom 4 series came out. I know with the Inspire 2, that was a big thing about smart return home, how it would fly around buildings and all this kind of stuff, or mimic the way that you flew it out there, it will return in the same form, same fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always question about, okay, you give something a new name or a different title, or maybe you just did something to tweak the existing technology, and people jump on the bandwagon thinking they're getting something totally brand new. And I
Yeah.
said, well, technically, it's already been incorporated 3 or 4 generations ago. It's just back then, everybody was just concerned about, oh, I want more flight time. And you didn't pay attention to all the other features that it came with. Everybody's always crying about flight time.
Yeah. I mean, the old Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, had
Mhm.
terrain awareness.
Right.
Because if you flew that low to the ground and you were starting to go uphill, it would raise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
I
saying. A
don't
lot of
know.
this technology has
Don't
been
know
around
to
for a
what.
while.
Yeah, I don't know what to what height that was effective for.
Mhm.
There would obviously be a point where it
And
wouldn't.
I remember when I had my original Mavic Air, the sensors on that thing were so sensitive that it would just stop dead in its tracks. If you were just so close to the ground or you got close to a tree, bush, whatever, it would just stop dead. You would have to actually either land it, or if it would let you get higher, you had to almost clear over anything that was close to it by at least 10 feet before it would let you continue on forward. And like Don was saying, it got so much to be a nuisance. A lot of people were turning off the optical sensors because it was like oversensitive.
Mm.
Well, using optical avoidance, if you are unsure, yeah, turn them on. After you've gotten some experience. In fact, I think they should stay on until you are comfortable with the drone that you're flying. After you've gotten a little bit more comfortable, and if you're needing to get in close and fly like a tighter path, then yeah, you have to turn them off, or else it's going to start stalling on you.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, most crashes occur when people are flying perpendicular of something.
Mhm.
And that's why it was a big thing about having the side sensors on drones, because that's where majority of crashes were happening. Because even now you got the little sensor, I call it windows, that let you look out the side. But I'm always thinking that if you're focused on what's in front of the camera, you're not paying attention what's on the little window coming up on the left or right of it. You're still going to crash because
Right.
it's not detailed enough, and that means you're not focusing on where the main camera's facing. So, like I always tell people, when people talk about, well, I can multitask, I'm like, yeah, you do very poor work.
No one can multitask. That's a myth. You cannot multitask.
Right.
What you can do
That's
is
my whole point.
switch. Yeah. All you're doing is switching modes quickly.
Right. And that's why I tell folks
And
all
some
the
people are
time.
better at doing that than others.
Yeah.
But when I go to line up a shot, I mean, after you've flown for a while, you get to where you know what you're going to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and you can envision the shot, and you can still get the shot. But then
Mm-hmm.
you're not really looking at the shot. You're, at least for a video that I'm trying to capture, you don't really pay as much attention to the shot. And I would love to have a second pair of eyes, but you switch to watch the drone because you trust that you're going to get the shot.
Right. And I say that it takes time and experience doing that,
Mhm.
and your ability to control the drone, getting the very smooth footage. Well, like you say, because you want to watch the drone, or like I say, this is why I tell people, go out and walk the area that you're flying in to catch the obstacles, so you'll be aware in your brain that says, okay, I'm flying this way perpendicularly or sideways, whatever you want to understand it as. And I know that there's going to be a tree or a building or whatever else over here. So I know at a certain point I need to rise up or I need to stop.
Always do a walk if possible.
Yeah. If
Sometimes it's
possible.
not possible. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not possible to walk what you're going to shoot.
Yeah. So,
But
that's what I'm
if you
saying.
can't walk what you're going to shoot, at least walk your surroundings.
Yeah, as I said, walk.
And that way, if you have to make a landing, if something's going on, I mean, who here always has a secondary landing site?
Always. Oh,
always have a secondary landing site.
secondary
Most people
landing,
don't. They're like,
secondary takeoff.
I'll find someplace, but no, that's a part of your job of being a professional. And I know we're talking about a mix of professional and just hobbyists. But part of being a professional is to have those things in mind,
Mm-hmm.
that you do that. And yeah, does it take more time? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why you're a professional.
Right. So that's why I was, asking about this LiDAR, because I said I caught the tail end of the conversation last night when I chimed in on the Bill's show. I think it was there. Last night was Bill Reviewer show, and they were talking about this LiDAR, and I'm like, okay, I understand LiDAR for mapping purposes and things of that nature because it penetrates the natural vegetation and all that kind of stuff, so you actually get the real terrain, and it also picks up other objects more to give you more resolution of it of different things. But I was just wondering how much more is it going to make flying safer? But that's my whole thing is how much more safer is it going to make flying? Just like with those little windows off the side sensors, how much safer does that make your flying? And I say because of the size of the picture that you get, which is a little small one, unless you blow it up at a main screen, and then you're compromised, you can't see what the main camera's seeing. I said it does not really make your flying safer. It's actually more of a distraction. Because for the enterprise level drones, they put that little side sensor window and replace the altitude. When I fly terrain awareness, it took that little box out. So I really can't tell what the real altitude of the drone is at any given point, except knowing how it's supposed to work in my head. We used to have a little window on the side that told us where that drone was at and what its actual altitude was at where it was at itself. Because on the regular telemetry, it just gives you the telemetry for where you took off from.
Yeah.
The other little window used to give you the telemetry of where the drone was actually at.
That should actually be something that they should put on all controllers, on all drones.
Yeah.
And you should be able to have an option for.
Yeah, and that was my point, Don, because I'm thinking that when that update came around July or May of this year with that new update, because I believe that sensor thing came out on the regular consumer Mavic 3 first, and then they incorporated it into the enterprise level, and I'm like, to me it was gimmicky, and I'm like, in months before that, I would always have that little window when I put my drone in terrain awareness mode. I would have that separate little window on the right side of the screen, and it would tell me the telemetry of where the drone was at exactly where it's flying.
Well, really, if DJI really cared about pilots, they would have an option. Give me a desktop app where I can design my interface. Let me design my UI, because who's in control? Who's responsible? It's the pilot in command. Let the pilot in command put the information that he needs to perform his job front and center.
Yeah, Sean, that's what I'm looking for is this new LiDAR technology that they're talking about, is it really going to make flying much more safer, or is it just another gimmicky type feature?
Yeah.
But that's all the important thing to me is, if it makes flying actually safer, I'm all with it.
I think it makes it safer for the drone. I'm not necessarily sure it's going to be safer than anybody else.
So
Yeah.
that gives new meaning to drone safety, right?
Yeah. So that's always my concern. Is it, like I said, this other thing they put out with the little sensor window, that didn't make flying safer to me. It's more of a distraction.
Yeah, and if it distracts you, it shouldn't be there.
Right.
Also,
You need information where you can glance at it and go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the new rules for the sub 250 gram drones that they've introduced in Europe, not in the UK, mind, but in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
is that they are now not limited to 400 feet above the ground. They are limited to 400 feet above their takeoff point.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to fly up a mountain that's higher than 400 feet, tough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's been a subject of debate for quite a while. And because I know here in the United States, because the language is vague, that people always have that debate about, well, if you're a recreational flyer, does it mean from your takeoff point, or does it mean where the drone is actually at any given time? And that's always a constant debate in group chats about that. And as I said, with a Part 107, you get, I would say it does not give you much more flexibility, but I would say having that status is less likely that you're going to run into some issues from authorities because you have that status, not because of you have permission to do more than a recreational flyer. It's just the fact that you have that Part 107 status.
Yeah, our regulations are worded such that it actually states 400 feet above the ground, directly below the drone. But the trouble is, there is no way of measuring that. You can only say how far it is above the takeoff point, unless you use what you were talking about before, which isn't on the Fly app, is it?
I can tell. I never use the Fly app.
Exactly. The Fly app only tells you how high you are above your takeoff point, not
Well,
how high you are above the ground.
Yeah, well, I think that's all of the apps. I'm just saying I don't have a drone that uses the Fly app. I use either Pilot 2 app or original Pilot app, or if I use an older drone, I use the Go 4 app. I don't own any drones that use the Fly app.
Yeah, my Mavic Pro Platinum uses the Go 4 app.
Right. So that's why I was saying that, for the work I do, flying as often as I do in terrain awareness mode, that extra little window there was very important. So I know at any given time where that drone is at as far as the altitude of that drone at any given time, because the regular telemetry will only give me the altitude from the takeoff point. And like I say, it may say 500, 600 feet, but that other little window off to the right used to tell me that the drone was still only at about 398, 399. And it would show, it actually showed a bar. It would show a 400-foot bar, and it would show me the drone. It show a picture of the drone where it's at, and then it would show me the two other bars. One would be a sea level bar, and one would show me the actual whatever terrain where I'm at.
Right. I must fly my Pro Platinum a bit more. I mean, that's actually got a separate telemetry screen on the controller, as well as your phone attaching to it for the rest of it. It's got a separate screen on the controller that gives all the telemetry on it. It's been that long since I've flown that one. I don't know what it's got on it.
Give me, Mark. I'm typing a message to one of my clients right now as we speak. I have a lot. The one thing I'm finding out over the years when I do these large developments, housing developments, that you may have a main contractor, a main developer that's in charge of the whole site, but then you may have sub developers who are also building houses in the same area. So sometimes I get requests to only fly a certain portion of it or fly the whole portion of it. So I'm getting a message now talking about, oh, they screwed up. I was supposed to fly the whole large site, and they told me to fly the smaller segment of it.
Oh dear.
Well, it's on them, and they're gonna pay me. I say, hey, I did what you told me to do. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're gonna pay me for that flight, and you're gonna pay me this weekend for the new flight.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I guess that's why
They can afford it.
sometimes what gets me
They
when you
just
deal with
pass
these
the
people.
cost on, don't they?
What's that, Paul?
They just pass the cost on to whoever they're doing it for, right?
Well, this time they
And
said
if it's
they
already
messed
been
up.
bid.
They might have to eat it. This wasn't the customer themselves. They like I say, every month I get a list of jobs the month before. And then the month before they told me that the largest site had to be put on hold. Portions of it was on hold because of permits need to be issued.
Yeah.
So only fly this other section. Well, that's what I flew. And now they
Things
say they
like,
mixed up.
I mean, things like that should be included in the total tender cost. That would not be classed as a contingency. That would have been their error, so they'll have to suffer that.
Yeah.
Well, they'll make it up along the line somehow.
Yeah. Like I say, as long as I don't miss no money, I'm not really concerned.
Right. You just tell them, you shuffle it any way you want and just pay me.
That's right. That's it. That's it.
But that's why it's important for a QS to get his measurements and quantities exact. Because if it starts getting to the point where they're using more of a certain thing than he's put in the bill of quantities, they end up paying a surcharge on top for the additional materials. So it ends up costing more again.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's between them and the end customer. Like I said, as far as me, as long as I complete the task that I was assigned, you will pay me for the task that was assigned. If I got to go out and fly it again because of your mistake or your mix up, that does not concern me at all. I will get paid.
We were the customer, basically.
Yeah.
As a council, our office only dealt with council housing sites. So the housing department and the architects used to put out the contracts and the bill of quantities for the housing and the layout for the housing. And we used to design all the road works and sewer works within that site. And we would then do all the leveling, the design, the bills of quantities, and the supervision of building those roads through that housing scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So if we got it wrong, it was our fault.
Yeah. So, like I said, this would be I think this job here is extra 210. It's not a bad site. Actually, it's going to go up in price because they want me to fly a second panorama. So I need to discuss with them. Kick that up to about 260.
Yeah, that's an extra battery. That.
Yep. So I need to bust it up to about 260. So thank you for have my brain working there, Mark. Why you tell that right now?
Guys, I'm gonna jump off. I gotta watch this little kid. That game's tonight, so I'll see y'all in the morning.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, see you, Joe.
Later.
The Tigers are playing tonight, aren't they?
This afternoon.
This afternoon. Yeah. Oh yeah, 3 o'clock it'll be because it's 8 o'clock here. Yeah. 1-1 in the series so far.
Yeah.
And the Phillies are now 2-1 down.
You know, so somebody's got to win 2 more games out of the remaining 3.
I think the Phillies went 2-1 down against the Mets last night. Mm. Mm.
Well,
You're
guys, what
talking,
do
I
you
just
think?
got reminded, I was like, oh, go ahead.
No, what do
You're
you
gonna
think, Donald?
follow it. I got nothing to say.
No, I just did everybody's picture just get bigger and clearer when Joe left.
Well,
Joe
yeah, it will do.
brings everybody down.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure it wasn't just me. I looked down my phone, I look up, I said, oh, that's a change of contrast there.
Yeah. Well, it changes from 5 to 4, so it splits evenly,
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, they
Yep.
all get bigger.
I
Dre
can
talking
keep it
business,
going if
just-
you guys want to keep it going, but there's only 10 people watching.
Yeah. Dre talking business just reminded me I had to confirm a shoot for tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
The guy-
Sean's on. Hi,
The guy
Sean.
emailed me from India saying he'd be back in town and wanted to shoot tomorrow. And it's like, okay, what time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you doing a little Bollywood work there?
I've shot commercials for this guy for years, and he's a vegetarian. He loves going to India because he can find food that he can eat. And he's also a photographer. He does still photography. He's been doing that for years and years. But he travels to India maybe twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
spends a few weeks.
Okay.
Dre, Sean's put something in about LiDAR on chat.
Yeah, I've been watching
Yeah.
his chat. It's not a normal use for LiDAR. So processing
Yeah.
not relevant. It is when some of the leak. Okay. Okay. So I guess when this thing comes out next week or whenever it does, we'll get the skinny on it then. I'm just
I would
kidding.
expect if you tune into Geeks Vana, he'll be doing a full episode on it real soon.
Yeah, very
Of
possibly.
course. Of course. No, I just try to get the skinny on it in case like I said, I didn't hear much last night. And I know a lot of times Bill and Marcus and Ron, they really go off their wish list, the Christmas wish list, of what they hope the drone will have on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some leaked information.
I'm
So,
still waiting for the coffee maker to be built into the controller.
yeah.
Yeah. They do go on about various things, but I'm not sure that they actually fully understand what it actually means.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. From my understanding, what LiDAR is, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, how is LiDAR, from my understanding, is going to be an actual real benefit as a front sensor for
Yeah.
this drone.
Well, I mean, the only thing that I can say about LiDAR is it is more accurate than visual sensors.
Right. And I
And
get
it's probably even more accurate than sonic sensors as well, but
I would say it's more accurate, but it's also tunable. So you might, depending on the tuning, it might be more dangerous than just a straight
would
ahead.
that make it more susceptible to interference and that type of thing?
Well,
Not
LiDAR
partic-
can be used to look like through the canopy of leaves and
Mhm.
stuff. So
Right.
it
I
can
was
be
just wondering
tuned
about
to disregard.
electronic interference.
No,
Okay.
no.
No, it's using light instead of sound or vision.
And that's what I was thinking about, Paul. Like, how will it affect what you do, as far as the LiDAR will it be more sensitive, or if you go out and fly that ship, will it allow you to get as close as you do, or will it keep distance?
I would think so. I think the
Well,
idea
that's
of
what I'm trying to
LiDAR is it's going to allow it to get closer to
Well,
something.
that's
Because
that's
it
what I'm
knows-
saying. It's just
Yeah.
where is this going to help or hurt?
Yeah.
Based upon the type of flying that certain
But
individuals do.
I mean, it should also be able to see smaller twigs.
right, and that's the
possibly
question:
even,
is it going to be a tunable LiDAR?
Right. That's what I
possibly
say.
even cables.
Well, I that's what I'm saying, Mark. You may be able to see more, but how will the drone react upon what it sees? Like
And-
I would imagine exactly the same as it does with the vision sensors. It will move out of the way.
And Donald, is it tunable? Is that what you're saying? In other words, like you could say,
Well-
set the parameters that it reacts to, or?
What it can see through, it can see, like I said, LiDAR can be used to detect all the way down to, it will see everything, to where it'll ignore certain densities and see through. And they use it for like mapping in underneath the
Forest.
canopy, do ground mapping through leaves and stuff like that. It can ignore some information based on how it's tuned. And so how is that LiDAR going to be tuned is a question.
Mm.
Is it going to be tuned ultra sensitive? Is it going to be tuned to just a certain density so it won't see leaves but it'll see twigs?
Well, once again, my thing is, how's it going to be tuned to make the drone react?
Right.
Well, I guess it'll just be the same. If you set on brake, it'll stop. If you set on bypass, it'll go around it.
Right, and it won't be, and I guarantee they'll put it through their flight tests, and it probably will not be user adjustable,
Most likely.
and so they'll probably be just setting up, and it'll probably be, as usual, super useful. I mean, there's a reason why there's only a few market leaders.
And it,
Well, like I said,
it'll
we'll have to
increase
wait until the
it'll increase the cost of the drone, right?
Could. It depends, though. I mean, it may be that using LiDAR, they may be able to get by with less processing power on board.
Oh,
You don't know.
They might also cost them less on repairs because it has less crashes.
well, like I say, Mark, 90% of the crashes are usually pilot error.
Well, yeah.
Some form of fashion. Even though they'll say, "Well, the drone just dropped out of the sky," I'm like, oh, "Okay." why
Here's
you-
the thing. I was just flying under this bridge and the drone just fell, and for no reason. It's like, oh, it didn't hit that fishing line that you weren't paying attention to because you didn't do a walk around.
Well, my classic thing is, Don, is that
Now, Donald,
you
we know that
just took
Paul's
off with
already
only
done
8
that.
satellites, and you wonder
We
why
don't know,
it
Paul.
flew-
Did we ever determine what it was that dropped you underneath that bridge? Was it something hanging off of it?
no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know. It just lost signal, and then when it
No.
once I lost signal, it hovered and hovered and hovered, and by the time I
Yeah.
ran around trying to get signal back again, it just
came
went
down.
right down.
Yeah,
into the
and
water.
No, I meant the one on
doing a
the
walk around
ice.
is not something that Paul can do. He can do a walk around a ship.
I meant the one on the ice.
The ice, I hit there was
That was a cable
power
dangling.
lines across,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as I refer to, all too often with new pilots, is that they are so much in a hurry to get this thing in the air, they don't allow the drone to get a good lock. People are taking off with less than 10 satellite connections, which is
Yeah.
very poor habit. And they wonder why the
Mhm.
drone is erratic or it actually just takes off on them. And then the first question I asked people, I said, "What was your telemetry?" And they're like, "What?" I said, "How many satellites did you have?" And they can't tell me.
Yeah,
That's it.
until it says home point has been set, then you shouldn't take off.
And I tell people
Well-
it doesn't count when it doesn't count when it says home point set and you're already ascending up to about 50 feet already.
Yeah.
It doesn't, just because it says home point, if you wait till then to take off, in some cases you can take off without
Mhm.
that, but you have to be extra aware. You have
Yeah.
to be
Mm.
you have to be flying the drone and not just relying on something that has not locked yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I
So,
always tell people, I said, those satellites don't always stay the same. You may gain some and you may lose some.
I have flown without satellite coverage, and I was extra cautious when I did it.
Mhm.
And it's like nowadays they say take off up to about 20 feet so it can make itself aware of its surroundings. In fact, I don't know whether it
In fact,
actually.
if you fly
does take a-
indoors, like inside of a metal building or something, you're not going to get satellite
Oh
signal.
no, you're not. No. No, you get some, perhaps, but not many.
Yeah, I don't really. And Michael, I don't really pay attention to leaks very much either. You get information leaked, and that gives you a little buzz. Everybody has their channels, and they all want to talk about the leak. And then
Yeah.
a few months later, they'll have an actual official announcement, and everybody's going to be all buzz, and they all get to put another video out about the announcement. And then you wait a little bit later until it's released, and everybody gets to put out their video about the release.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Lon was going on about the Air 3S having
I pay
variable
more
aperture.
attention once the drones are
And-
delivered. I pay more attention to first
Yeah.
flights and stuff like that.
Now, all of a sudden, it's not got variable aperture.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Which-
a lot of time they go off their Christmas wish list of
Yeah.
what they want to be on it.
Mm.
Which I would love
Well,
for them to make a drone with a controllable aperture again.
It does tell us that nobody's got any for testing at the moment.
Well, there's some, believe me, there's some, they just under the user under NDA and they can't say anything.
Yeah, but Lon would have known from Billy.
Well,
The-
Lon,
the-
even though Lon may
that-
know, he still
Yeah.
to protect Billy, he can't say
Oh
anything.
yeah, yeah. But he wouldn't have told us that it had variable aperture if he knew that it didn't.
Yeah. And that's why I always tell people I'm not never in a hurry to jump on the next drone that comes out, because there hasn't been anything that's pretty much matched specs of the last variable aperture drone, which was the Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the Air 2, one had the one in sensor, but didn't have variable aperture. And then there was a 2S, had a smaller sensor.
No, the other way around. The
Other way
2S
around? Okay, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
one had a one in sensor, no variable aperture, and the other one had a smaller sensor altogether. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
not, I'm not
I've got
moving,
both of them.
right,
yeah,
and I said,
twos.
not moving forward. And then same thing when the Mavic 3 came out, no variable aperture. I'm like, you got a bigger sensor, but you didn't give me a variable aperture.
Yeah, I think the Air 2's got 1/2 inch,
Yeah,
same as the Mini 2. I don't think it went as big as the ones that, like the 3/4 inch that
right.
the
Yeah,
Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 4 Pro have got, and the Air 3.
yeah. So it seemed like DJI just kind of hits and miss. And like I tell people, the last sweet spot drone they put out was the Phantom 4 series. You know,
Mm-hmm.
mechanical shutter, variable aperture, you know, well, in my opinion, had sufficient enough flight time. You know, actual flight time is still around 22, 23 minutes, even though they advertise 30. About the time you
Uh-huh.
put it to work, you get about 22, 23 minutes of actual working time with that drone.
With the camera hung below it, did it actually have 360 degrees of traverse?
No, because the
Oh.
legs would be in the way.
Right.
That was always the issue with that, with people. And like I said, there hasn't been a drone except for the Inspire that does 360 degrees panning, unless you went to Inspire. So I always tell people, I said, same thing, you know, everybody's talking about, well, you know, this, I said, none of the Mavics turn 360 degrees. So what,
No, they don't.
you know,
Well, they
That's-
can't. The body's in the way, isn't it?
right, the body's in the
Yeah.
way. So that's why I tell folks, I said the Phantom 4 series was basically the best drone they produced out of all the drones they put out, because it clicked so many boxes. The variable aperture, 4K 60, you know, it can fly. I mean, really, the Phantom can fly with just about anything out there.
I
Nobody's
love the
flying
Phantom
circle.
4.
Yeah,
I
guess,
love the Phantom 4. There's still one sitting over in the
Oh, yeah.
office at the old work that's not being used that I would love to have my hands on right now.
Yeah, like I said, I got 3 of them still now sitting in my closet. I charge the batteries about every other month, make sure they stay good. And I still use my Phantom 4 RTK. That actually still working for me.
Mhm.
on different jobs because of airspace issues I'm having with the Mavic 3E. The Phantom 4 RTK goes same authorization, Don.
Mhm.
Same authorization on both drones. And the Phantom 4 RTK can go to the height it needs to. The Mavic 3E gets stuck at 197.
Hmm.
And DJI can't figure it out. Because
And
I've been in talks with them about 6 months,
That's all
going
software.
back and forth. Said, how come with this authorization? And I said, but when I put the same authorization and activate it on the RTK Phantom, it does it with no problem. They're all like, I don't know, sir.
Yeah. Whenever somebody brings up the Phantom 4, because actually there was 2 of them there, and I had put a ton of time on one of them, and I don't really care about it anymore because the gimbal had started developing the recovery on the gimbal was dropping. I was going to need a motor replaced soon, but the other one's still sitting there that has probably 15 flights on it.
Mm.
It's like, I want it so bad, and it's just sitting over there.
Make an offer to
Yeah, just ask them.
them.
Say, if you're not going to use it, would you mind if I had
I
it?
can say, I'd ask them, say, hey, you guys not using this, mind if I take it off your hands? And they say, well, you know.
Yeah, just do a TJ. Can I have that?
I have a feeling, because the people that are left at the company, if they found out that somebody wanted something of value there, they would say, well, you need to send that into corporate.
Mm.
And somebody
Well,
at corporate would take it.
Here's what I was wondering. Do they know they have it?
Unfortunately, I provided an inventory about a month and a half. I gave them a full inventory of equipment about a month and a half before they downsized.
Nothing wrong with that. Don,
No, it's the right thing.
That's right. You did the right thing. That's what I tell folks. Doing the right thing is never an issue. It should never be an issue.
No, there's 2 jibs. There's a jib over in their storage unit that didn't make it to inventory, that they know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
That has a control arm and everything. A beautiful jib,
wow.
A little bit heavy duty, but still a beautiful jib.
Yeah.
Then they've got the lightweight jib that is on the inventory that's over in the office. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I miss having all that gear.
Well, on the inventory, you should have written after it redundant.
Yeah, so that's why when people talk about, drones, it depends who you're talking to and how long they've been around the industry. I always tell people, I said, until you fly a Phantom, then you can really know the difference between the Mavic series and anything else. Because the Phantom flies totally different than what a Mavic series.
Yeah, the only Mavic I've ever flown, other than my little Mini, was the Mavic 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I had rented one of those for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it's kind of like the old Inspires. I used to have all kinds of Inspires,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that Phantom, it controlled so well.
Oh yeah, and the controls were very fluid. It's like
you didn't have a lot of ramp up. You had a little bit of feather. You had a lot of feathering.
Right there you go. That's the proper word. A lot of feathering, so you can be so silky smooth with that thing.
Oh yeah, my go-to practice move was to fly the drone backwards towards me, spin it, and as I came past me, spin it so that it was flying away from me. But in a straight line. So as it came right toward me, I'd practice that back just over and over again and do my figure eights. That was my go-to practice.
Right.
And I cannot do that on a Mavic.
Yeah. So like
as hell.
Like right now on the. Go ahead, Mark.
You can. It's called Spotlight.
Well.
Oh no, I'm talking about manually.
Manually, because right now on the Avata 2, it has that reverse spin mode.
This goes back to I was practicing flying the drone. It goes back to our subject earlier, instead of letting the drone fly itself.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying when they come up that little automatic feature on the Avata 2, the little spin move. I said I was doing that with a Phantom.
Oh yeah,
manually.
That's basic practice, man.
Yeah, you practice that doing manually. So you like say you can actually you can come up facing it, do a 180 as it comes past you, and keep it on focus on what you're at. That's the same thing putting in Vata. It made it
Oh, yeah.
automatic.
That's just reversing the yeah. That's reversing that move, and
Yeah. And I
it's the
tell
same
people, I
move.
said,
It's just aimed a different direction. Yeah.
right. And I tell people, I said, I was doing that with a Phantom, a drone 3 times the size of a Vata.
Oh yeah, and if you're going to be doing product like chasing a car or something, yeah, you need to know those skills.
Yep.
How to drive down a straight road and follow and turn and keep a car in focus or in frame.
Right. And that's why I used to tell folks a lot of times, even using Litchi, the Phantom 4 and Litchi is like a married couple. It works so well together.
I never actually used Litchi.
You'd be so Don, it'd be like, man, I should have used this years ago. I could have got so much extra work done. And like I say, Litchi is almost like they took somebody, almost like talk about how they make console games and stuff, like the movie, what was the driving game that's had the movie out a while ago? The racing driving game. They just had a movie out about it. But how this guy made the simulation so realistic that it mirrored what the professional drivers use.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I say Litchi was like that with the Phantom. It's almost like they took somebody to fly a Phantom, make all the moves, and incorporate it in Litchi. The Litchi was just that smooth of a program that anything you could do manually, it could match it. And I say, when I say it smoothly matches it. And that's why I tell people, I said, well, if you use Litchi, you can get that same camera. And that's why I tell people, it's not so much how the drone moves, but how the camera can actually move. And I say with Litchi, the camera moves so smoothly and tilts, pans, whatever you need to do. So much like if you think it was somebody manually flying it, more than anything else. Because like I said, I've used Litchi with both the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom. The Mavic 2 Pro gets a little jerky at times. And I can put it on the Phantom, same exact waypoint mission or whatever. And with the Phantom, it just comes out so buttery smooth compared to the Mavic 2 Pro. It's just like almost like night and day and stuff, man. So yeah, if you ever get the itch, I would say, get Litchis for the heck of it. I don't know if you don't have a Phantom anymore, but
no.
Yeah, and all you guys the Mini, right?
All I got is the Mini now until I can justify buying, upgrading,
it doesn't work well with the Mini because the Mini has that virtual stick type of system, and it doesn't work very well. It's not as cinematic at all, not even close.
No.
That's
that Mini, it's basically set up your shot and do straight moves. You can't actually do complex moves with it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The Phantom was just the ideal companion with Litchi and vice versa. That you can control the gimbal along with the flight path and everything. And then what made it really nice is that in the earlier versions of Litchi, you could go on to, I think you still can, use Google Earth and do a pre-flight.
Yeah, you can.
Do a pre-flight on your desktop so you get an idea exactly how the flight's going to look before you even walk out there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that way, that's why I say about how you can adjust the gimbal and everything else. It allows you to make all those little minute adjustments to get the shot in.
You're making me really crave.
Yeah. So that's and like I said, you can do all these things manually, but like I said, when you fly manually, it takes a little more longer time. When you're out there. And like I say, for me to go in there, you set everything up, you saw it on the computer, you say, okay, yeah, that's the shot I need. And you go out there and say, okay, boom, boom, connect, take off, go.
Well, doing video, most of your shots are ad hoc anyway. So that's why you practice and
right. But I'm just saying for time wise, especially like I say, repeated shots, because you and I both know the human body. That's one of the hardest things we can do is try to repeat something we've done before.
Oh yeah.
So I say, if you have something automated, it does it same time again. You know, let's shoot it
Well, I
again.
think having RTK would be cool, just because you can. What's the record your flight path?
Well,
repeat.
RTK is not just that. RTK, it just sends adjustments to your drone to
Mhm.
make sure whatever it is flying, basically for mapping purposes, it makes sure it stays the course more
Right.
accurate.
But when they released their last RTK, they were talking about how you basically record and play back a flight like perfect. And
Mhm.
I was thinking of use cases for video on that. That would be just phenomenally fun.
I have to really look at that part of it. I just know that this, from my standpoint, RTK is a lot of different things.
It gives you
involved.
that pinpoint accuracy for mapping, of course.
Yes, well, not just but how you get that accuracy, and that's why
Mhm.
people say it's not just the RTK itself; it's also about where you're getting the signal from.
Right.
Okay, a lot of people want to go off what we call core systems or whatever state sponsor system. That's great if you can get a signal that holds on long enough to do that. Myself, I use base stations.
Mhm.
I have the DJI base station, which that never fails me. And I also have the MLIT system for base station and rover also. And like I say, what I did was I got the SIM card chip for the base station, gets its own satellites instead of relying upon a signal from another base station, and it just relays it, because then there's always potential signal loss or adjustments. Then the last
Mhm.
part is knowing your local what they call it, deviation numbers, and you have to use those deviation numbers compared to the numbers that you got when you flew, and that you kind of, whatever the process is that engineers do, it gives you the actual accuracy numbers for whatever you just flew.
What is the margin error on RTK? Is it about a centimeter?
Well, yeah, well, I'd say how you get that centimeter level. That's what
Mhm.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Having, it's a lot more than people think, well, I got an RTK, turn the drone on and automatic. I said, no, you need it comes from a complete system setup.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
The drone, RTK system on the drone is basically just a receiver of information
Mhm.
that tells the drone to make certain corrections while it's flying. Where you get that information from, if it's from a core system, you got to figure out how accurate that is. A lot of times with core systems, you run the issues of signal drop. That means your drone's going to be off bit if it ran to signal drops, because you can have, with RTK, you can have 3 different type of settings. Single solution, which means it's not going to be very accurate at all. If you're in a float solution, that means you may actually only be within about 6 feet, and then you have a fixed solution, which means you're supposed to be down to 1 centimeter.
Yep.
Okay, so it all depends on where you're actually, what kind of signal you're getting, and what the result of that signal is. And that's why I say it's important to have I would say, on-site base station getting its own satellites.
Yeah, that's what I was. The demo that I was talking about was they were using base station to get
Right.
that super accurate, where you could.
Right.
We were talking about the other day about doing match cuts and stuff, and doing that. What I found interesting was that you would be able to then record a flight and then change out for another flight. So you could do match cuts day to night. Would be great. Have a vehicle driving down the road and switch from day to a night shot, and
Right.
within the same camera move. That'd be a really interesting way to use it.
That would be.
Or follow different vehicles down the road, same flight path. So be like, all right, action, and have them go at a certain speed, and then you'd have one camera move, but have the cars changing out
Yeah.
going down the road, just cut different shots. It would look like one single camera move with the cars changing out, but the scenery staying the same. I
Right.
was thinking about all kinds of interesting use cases
That
for it on
that
video.
very well could work.
Yeah,
Like-
the actual hardest part about that is getting the cars to go on the exact same path.
Right.
Right. So basically, the camera system wouldn't be the variable, just the actual people would be the variable.
Yeah. You would take one of the complexities out of the shot.
Right. Right. So that's why I say, with RTK and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot of different factors come into play and everything else. And it's not just right out the box and it just does
Right.
what people think it does. There's a little more to it.
Mhm.
And I had done a shot a few years ago where I went out and set up same distance and just did an orbit of a single tree. And I would go out every month, every 2 months and get the same shot over and over again.
Mhm.
And then to bring it in and have it go through the changing seasons, have the tree start in summer, go through fall.
Yeah.
Have winter and stuff like that.
And that's the theory behind Litchi is that you can have that repetitive shot. And
and
like I
record
say, the drones themselves are not bad at doing repeatable shots. And you really have
Right.
to be fine detailed.
But there was a lot of, since I didn't have any type of RTK system, I was relying just on the satellites and its
Right.
position. And I had so much drift, it became a tracking nightmare.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That, it depends on a lot of different conditions and how much the drone is drifting and everything else. But like I say, using Litchi, it's unless you have, like I say, satellite issues, stuff like that, it does a pretty good job. You have to really be detail minded to be able to see the difference between one flight from the other flight. You have to be really detail minded to catch it. The average person watching it would never notice it.
Yeah, the tree one would be interesting because you'd also have the growth of the tree within those 2 months. Well,
You didn't really have a lot of
So-
growth, but let me see. I'm going to see if I still have
it will be almost like a time lapse of the tree growing.
Yeah, I was reading Sean's comment about someone should license the Phantom Shape.
Yeah.
Sean, I wish somebody would license the whole thing.
Yeah,
But like I
it
said,
wasn't
was-
just the shape.
It was the whole complete drone.
Like I was talking about the feathering on the controls.
Yeah,
It was so nice.
yeah.
It was interaction.
So
I
that
do
would be
not
the drone
have
to
that.
license, and it would probably outsell most of the newer drones that are out there today. With the same specs that the old version had.
What's the flight time out of a Mavic, the Phantom 4?
Like I said, actual
20
flight
minutes,
time,
I
I would say
think.
between 22, 24 minutes actual flight time. It says 30, but 22 to 24 minutes.
I always counted it as 20 minutes. If I could
Oh,
squeeze
yeah.
out a
If I
couple
was
extra
doing
minutes,
work, 20
fine,
minutes
but-
was what I factored also. 20 minutes is what I factored. Because I always tell people, you always got to look at the time for your flight to ascend, go to a starting point, and also your return to home time.
Yeah.
So like I said, I always calculated 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that's on every battery as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just add in once. That's every time. Yeah.
And that's how I would do my jobs. It's like, I always do my jobs off batteries.
Yeah.
If it's a one battery job, just the price range. If it's 2 battery jobs, now we're in another price range. Because batteries are time.
Mhm.
And that's what people are easily understand time versus a lot of other elements that you can talk about. You say, well, if I'm gonna be out here using 2 or 3 batteries, well, that's how you get charged for it.
I charge them for actual time. I don't usually figure out how many batteries because then they want to say, well, you only flew like 1 battery. It's like, yeah, but it took us extra time because you guys weren't prepped on this here. So it's time on the ground.
Yeah, well, yeah, that comes into play too. If you're waiting on people,
Yeah.
they got to understand that. But I'm saying most time when I go out, it's
But
just
usually
me.
you're by yourself and you're just like,
Right.
okay, this is gonna be do this job, it's only gonna be,
Right. I mean, it's me setting up everything. I'm ready to go. And like I said, I'm in that routine now. I'm set up. And most everything I fly is RTK. So I got the base station set up. We're locked in, drones on the ground. I'm already go within 5-10 minutes tops.
now, you've already got your price for setup and tear down built
Mhm.
into the price of one battery. So if you're just doubling that, you're getting the extra bonus
Right.
on every battery.
That's right. So I mean, I say things even out as you go along. Because I mean, I'm only going to set up once. I'm only going to tear down once.
Mm.
Well, guys, I know Paul was wanting to end it.
No, he's already eating his meals on wheels.
He
now.
started eating.
I just finished my Meals on Wheels. It was turkey,
We
gravy,
talked through his dinner.
mashed potatoes, and you know what, Don? You surprise you. It had green beans, and I ate them.
Good
Ooh,
job. Ooh,
all right.
I need to get out. I harvested a bunch of green beans for my sisters a while back and vacuum sealed them, and I was getting curious on how those are going to cook up. I was afraid that some of them might be tough, and I need to get a bag of those out and cook those. Thanks for reminding me.
Mm.
I need to go out and start cleaning out my garage because I got a bunch of stuff that got moved in to my garage and took up a bunch of space, and I don't like it.
Mm.
Okay, okay, everybody. Hey, thanks for being here, Greg,
Oh, no problem.
for carrying the conversation.
Me and
You
Don
and
always have good conversations.
Yeah,
And Mark participating, and
Let's talk
everybody
tech.
in the
We'll get
chat,
geeky.
thanks for being here. We'll see all of you again later today.
All right.